a picture-perfect Southern family, led by the sharp-tongued, impeccably dressed Todd Chrisley, 56, and his charming wife, Julie, 52, living the high life in mansions dripping with chandeliers. Their USA Network show, Chrisley Knows Best, was a ratings juggernaut, pulling back the curtain on their lavish lifestyle and quirky family antics. But behind the glitz and glamour, a darker truth was brewing. A financial house of cards built on lies, fraud, and millions in ill-gotten gains. In August 2019, the feds came knocking, indicting the couple for bank fraud and tax evasion. By November 2022, they were slapped with a combined 19-year prison sentence, their empire reduced to rubble. Or so we thought. Fast forward to May 27, 2025. In a stunning twist, President Trump, fresh off his return to the Oval Office, picks up the phone and delivers a bombshell. Todd and Julie Chrisley are free. The announcement, made with Trump's signature flair, sent shockwaves through the nation. "They were given a pretty harsh treatment based on what I'm hearing," Trump declared, his voice dripping with sympathy for the disgraced duo. But what's really behind this presidential pardon? Is it a heartfelt act of mercy, a nod to a loyal supporter, or something far more calculated? Let's peel back the layers. The crime, a web of deception. To understand the pardon, we must first unravel the crimes that landed the Chrisleys in hot water. Federal prosecutors painted a damning picture. Todd and Julie, masters of manipulation, allegedly defrauded banks out of more than $30 million by submitting fake documents to secure loans. They fabricated financial statements, inflated their net worth, and even used a company called 7 Seas Productions to hide income from the IRS. The tax evasion charges were equally brutal, accusing the couple of dodging taxes on millions earned from their reality TV empire. By the time the gavel fell in 2022, Todd was sentenced to 12 years, Julie to 7, and their accountant, Peter Tarantino, got 3 years for his role in the scheme. The trial was a spectacle, with prosecutors alleging the Chrisleys lived a life of champagne wishes and caviar dreams, funded by fraud. Defense attorneys countered that the couple was betrayed by a disgruntled employee who forged documents and that the government overreached. The jury, however, wasn't buying it. The guilty verdict was a gut punch, sending Todd to FPC Pensacola in Florida and Julie to FMC Lexington in Kentucky. Their appeals, a glimmer of hope, saw mixed results. Julie's conviction was briefly overturned for insufficient evidence, only for a judge to later reinstate her sentence. Todd's appeal? Denied outright. The Chrisleys were down but not out until Trump stepped in. The pardon, a Trumpian twist. Enter Donald Trump, the comeback king, who wasted no time making headlines in his second term. On May 27, 2025, he called the Chrisley children, Savannah, Chase, and Grayson, to deliver the news personally. "Your parents are going to be free and clean," he told them, promising to have the paperwork done by tomorrow. The call, described by sources as emotional, was a lifeline for a family torn apart by scandal. But why the Chrisleys? Why now? Trump's rationale was vague but pointed. "It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing," he said, hinting that he believed the couple's punishment was excessive. Insiders whisper that Trump, a longtime fan of reality TV, may have seen parallels between his own legal battles and the Chrisleys' saga. After all, Trump has faced his own share of fraud allegations, from Trump University to his business empire. Was this pardon a middle finger to the justice system that's hounded him for years? Or was it a strategic move to curry favor with a loyal base? The family, Savannah's crusade. At the heart of this saga is Savannah Chrisley, the 27-year-old daughter who became the family's fiercest advocate. When her parents were carted off to prison, Savannah stepped up as the sole caretaker of her younger siblings, Grayson, 19, and Chloe, 12. At just 25, she was thrust into a role she never expected, juggling legal battles, parenting, and her own budding career as a podcast host and entrepreneur. "I wasn't expecting to get 2 kids," she told People in a candid February 2025 interview. "I put a smile on my face. I look the part, I play the part, but it doesn't mean I actually am the part." Savannah's fight for her parents' freedom was relentless. She launched The Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley podcast, using her platform to rail against what she called a corrupt justice system. She spoke at the 2024 Republican National Convention, aligning herself with Trump and painting her parents as victims of overzealous prosecutors. "These things should not happen," she told People earlier this year, vowing to seek a pardon from Trump himself. Her Instagram Live on May 27th was a tearful victory lap. "My parents get to start their lives over. President Trump gave them a full, unconditional pardon, and for that, I am forever grateful." But Savannah's crusade wasn't without critics. Some accuse her of leveraging her parents' plight for clout, turning their legal woes into a personal brand. Others question whether her high-profile support for Trump, complete with RNC speeches and cozy photo ops, played a role in securing the pardon. "This administration does not hand out favors," Savannah insisted in her statement, crediting advocate Alice Marie Johnson and attorney Alex Little. But skeptics aren't so sure. After all, Trump's pardons have a history of favoring allies, from Roger Stone to Michael Flynn. Is Savannah's loyalty the real currency here? The backlash, cries of favoritism. The pardon has sparked a firestorm of controversy. Legal experts argue it undermines the justice system, rewarding high-profile figures while others languish in prison for lesser crimes. This sends a message that fame and connections can buy you a get-out-of-jail-free card, one prosecutor told us anonymously. On X, posts erupted with mixed reactions. "Justice for the Chrisleys," cheered one user, while another fumed, "Trump's handing out pardons like candy to his reality TV buddies. Where's the accountability?" The timing raises eyebrows too. With Trump back in power and facing his own legal battles, the pardon could be a signal to his base. "I've got your back, especially if you're in my corner." Savannah's vocal support at the RNC and her family's conservative-leaning fan base make the Chrisleys an ideal poster child for Trump's law and order narrative, minus the order part. Critics also point to the lack of transparency. Unlike typical pardons, which often involve lengthy reviews, this one seemed to materialize overnight. Was it rushed to distract from other headlines, or was it a genuine act of compassion? The Chrisley pardon is a saga of fame, fraud, and political firepower. For some, it's a victory for a family wronged by a ruthless system. For others, it's a glaring example of privilege run amok. As Todd and Julie step back into the limelight, one thing is certain: the world will be watching. Whether they rise from the ashes or crash and burn, the Chrisleys are proof that in America, the line between justice and spectacle is razor thin.